Good morning, Shmuel, the running tour guide, together with Dr. Tovia Book. We are in the Ein Harod Valley. We're in the midst of the festival of Hanukkah, so we've brought you to a Hellenized Greco-Roman city. We're going to explore, we're going to figure out what's it doing here. We're going to have a great time. Anything to add? Let's go and see the ruins. Okay. We're entering from the west. Behind me you can see the ancient tell. Let's take you to the top. Up the tell we go. Shh, don't tell anyone. Here's the main Roman gate coming from the west, and we're in. Welcome to Scythopolis. Okay folks, our run has brought us from the western gate. We're now on top of the tell, looking towards the south. But boy, there's so much to share here. 20 layers of history are beneath our feet, and we're standing at the tell that was ruled by the Egyptians and the Canaanites. And during the periods of the judges and the kings, they tried to settle and conquer the city, but that was not possible. King Saul takes his own life, doesn't want to fall into the hands of the Philistines. And later on in history, the city below us, from the period of Alexander the Great, or from that period on through the Hellenistic period, the Greco-Roman city no longer settled on the tell where we are, but the city stretched below us in the bottom of the valley. Location was perfect, right next to the streams and the springs of Ein Harod. Bring us into the time. What are we going to do today? What's our aim in bringing folks here running around the site, especially during the festival of Hanukkah?
Chag Sameach, everybody. So the city you can see behind us is literally Israel's Pompeii. It is the best preserved Greco-Roman Byzantine remains in the entire Middle East. And this, my friends, is just a fraction of the city. This is a teeny part, probably 5% of the whole city, and it was just the commercial center. So where's the rest of the city, you might ask? And the answer is, in them's our hills, all the hills around us, under the ground is the ruins of Bet Shan.
How can you be at a site like this and not talk about King Saul, Melech Shaul, and his sons that lost their lives on Mount Gilboa behind me, hung on the walls of Beit She'an? Let's bring these words alive. Let's read from the text. Sefer Shmuel, the book of Shmuel, Dr. Book. Let's hear the words come alive.
Behold, the day after the battle, the Philistines came to despoil the corpses and steal the spoils of war. And they found Saul and his 3 sons fallen on Ha Gilboa. What did they do next? They sent his body all around the Philistine territories to show what they'd done. And they cut off his head and the heads of his sons, and they hanged them on the walls of Bet Shan.
Right, yeah. So those were the biblical words. Let's bring them into modern times.
It was the year 1936, and there was a strange sight. In the hills right behind me, the Gilboa Hills, there was the sight of a British Army officer, a captain, with a starched shirt and his British officer's cap. And sitting by him was an Israeli kibbutznik with a beautiful dark tan from working the fields, a blue work shirt, and they were just sitting next to each other, these 2 disparate looking individuals staring at the scene, the beautiful valley underneath them, the valley of Israel. And suddenly the British Army officer jumped up in a Scottish accent. He shouted out, "I dinna ken why he no do it ni," and which basically means, I don't know why he didn't do it. And the Israeli guy looked at him and said, Who are you talking about? He said, Saul. Why didn't Saul do it? And the Israeli kibbutznik said, Saul who? What are you talking about? And the British Army officer looked at the Israeli Jew in shock, and this Presbyterian Scottish Christian took out a Bible from his pocket, opened it up into the book of Samuel, and he read the following sentence. ויתחפש שאול וילבש בגדים אחרים וילך הוא 2 אנשים עמו ויבוא אל האישה לילה ויאמר קסמו נא לי באוי והעלי לי את אשר אמר אלייך. He read it in Hebrew, and translated it means, and Saul put himself in disguise and went with 2 servants, and they went to find the woman. What he was referring to, of course, is the events that happened in this very, very place. The night before Saul's death, on top of this mountain, right behind me, the Gilboa mountain, surrounded by the Philistine troops at the bottom, Saul took some of his servants and in disguise they snuck through enemy lines and went to the hills over there, the hills of Endor. And there he went to find a sorceress to conjure up the ghost of Samuel, of Shmuel, and asked him what his fate would be. It's a strange incident, and yet what interested Wingate was the military aspect of it. He said there he was the night before the battle, and he snuck through enemy lines in disguise. What should he have done? He should have turned around and attacked them from behind and take them by surprise. He had a small, mobile unit who'd gone through the enemy lines and now in a spot where the enemy couldn't see them. And the kibbutzik looked at Wingate in shock. And he realized that for him, this wasn't just black words on a white page, but rather he could see it. He could see it in 3 dimensions. It was as if he was there 3,000 years ago. He could see the Philistines at the bottom of the hill. He could see the hills of Endor. And his strategic mind was basically figuring out, what can we learn from this? So for this Christian Zionist, the Bible for him was a real, live, breathing book. And he applied its lessons to his own way of thinking, and he set up from that moment something called the Special Night Squads, or Plugot Halayla, which he trained Jews using the Bible as inspiration into small mobile squads to take the war to the enemy. And this, my friends, became the foundation of the IDF, with Israeli Defense Forces. And Wingate's last words he wrote to his wife before he was killed tragically in World War II was, if I forget Jerusalem, may I forget my right hand. And so here we are decades later. Wingate's name is still venerated in this country. He's known as Hayedid, or the friend. And he taught us that the Bible is not just an ancient document, but a living, breathing document. And when you come to Israel, the whole Bible gets the 3rd dimension. You can see exactly where things happened. This, my friends, is where Saul was. This is where King David was. This is the land of our ancestors, the land of our people, and the land of our future.
Let's go check it out. Okay, so before we head into the city, we're going to talk about its location. An incredible 3-arched bridge which came from the north, entering the city from the north, right next to the stream of Harod, a perfect water source for the city. But isn't it incredible to see the remains of this massive bridge? During its time, it must have been one of the major architectural geniuses of the time to be able to build a bridge of this size across the stream into the city.
So this city was one of the Decapolis, one of the 10 famous massive cities in the Roman period. And what we can see behind us, after 2,000 years of massive earthquakes, are the entire foundations of the bridge itself, including this arch over here with the keystone still in place. And it's just phenomenal how it stood the test of times.
Incredible. You guys have to come and visit. Subscribe to the channel. Give us a call, we'll take you around.
That's the one you can see.
Okay, here's the perfect example to show you. 749, that massive earthquake. These arches, pillars and capitals lying in situ where they fell. Wow, what a shake-up that must have been. Okay, there you can see the tell. We've come down from the tell. We've reached the city of Scythopolis. And here we are, running on the Decamanus, the east-west street. Can't do this every day. And we're heading up the hill. Soon we'll reach the Cardo. Wow, actually great running surface this. Look at this Corinthian capital lying in situ. Here it is. Right, we're going to stop here and we're going to have a 100-meter sprint down the Cardo. Okay, well done, Dr. Book. You beat me in the 100-meter Cardo sprint. Here we are at the southern end of this incredible street. You really get a sense of its glory even today with these pillars and capitals, some of them still remaining at the top. But let's get a better sense of what it looked like during its height, during its peak. Here you can see a picture of today. We're standing over here, and of course you can see the tell in the background. Bring on the times of Scythopolis. Wow. Can you imagine what it must have felt like to walk down the street? Shops on either side. Let's actually quickly show them a shop. What would be on the sides of these pillars? Is this the main street where you do the main market?
Of course.
You do your shopping, you buy your produce. Come and look at these carpet mosaics.
Familiar swastika all the way along the edge.
Yeah, have a look at that.
A sign of good fortune and good luck in the Middle East, brought from Alexander the Great from India. In the middle over here, you have a beautiful inscription. Now it's Greek to you and Greek to me, but the most important name in the middle is Palladios, who is the owner of this store, and obviously quite a rich dude to have an entire beautiful mosaic in the middle of his shop on the main street. And that's why this street is known as Palladios Street, the main Cardo, because of this inscription over here.
So beautiful. Right, heading to the theatre. Let's go see a show. Woohoo! Eggs and darts, architecture, beautiful granite pillars, perfect Corinthian capitals. But now it's time for the show. Here we're standing on the orchestra. Take my word for it, the acoustics is unbelievable. Here we have a view of what it looks like today, and it's glory times. Boy, oh boy. And Dr. Book, how many could be seated in this theatre?
8,000 people could be in this theatre. What we can see over here is the entire bottom third perfectly preserved, and the top next third, you can see the foundation of it. So this is the bottom 2/3 of an 8,000 person amphitheatre.
So you're saying this is the lower cavia? Cavia?
Absolutely, yeah. And this was the expensive seats over here. This would have been tiled with marble over here. And underneath the stage is a whole substructure as well, trapdoors. And here we have granite, red granite, imported all the way from the Sinai Peninsula to this theatre. And this is where the wall was that would bounce the acoustics back to the audience over there.
Commonly known as a scanner France. Display the Roman gods of the day, be entertained, be Hellenized. Hence the culture that was clashing with the Maccabees, the Hashmonaim, the Jews of 2,200 years ago. Boy, oh boy, there must have been a period in history where you could come to these shows for free. Wasn't that the point, that Hellenism could be taught? Propaganda, a place of propaganda. The theatres were really these seats of spreading the culture.
Give them bread. All the theatres, the amphitheatres, public entertainment was all free and all used for propaganda.
Well, want to give us a show? Okay, Dr. Book is going to give us a show. I'm going to try and get a good seat here in the lower cavia. Let's go up a few flights, a few stairs. This is a great place to sit. Okay, I got myself a nice seat here in the theatre, and it's time for the show. Dr. Book, give us a bit of Shakespeare.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. For the good that men does is often turned to their bones, and the evil lives after them. And so it was with Caesar.
Bravo! Bravo! Encore! Okay, let's finish off at the bathhouse. We'll freshen up, relax, and do what the Romans do. Whoa. Okay, so here we are in the main room of the hothouse, the Caldarium. You can make out these hypocasts, the pillars, which would allow hot air to come underneath the floor, heat the floor, heat the walls, build up a nice heat to have a good schwitz and relax here in the hothouse. And just to give you an idea of the size of this bathhouse facility, have a look at this model. A potitarium, frigidarium, coldarium, major infrastructure to enjoy yourself, and of course the implements in order to make the body feel good. You've got an oil flask, you've got a pair of strigils for scraping the oil, sweat and dirt from the skin, a patera for pouring cold water and splashing cold water all over the body, and even your own little personal hygiene set, which is a toiletry set, an ear scoop, a nail cleaner and tweezers. Boy oh boy, get the body beautiful. Hellenized culture. It's all about me, 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 and the beauty of the body. And let's not kid, we have it today. Virgin Active, Planet Fitness, head to the gym, get the body beautiful. Okay folks, hope you enjoyed that little runabout Scythopolis. Now we search for some springs and to enjoy the nature that surrounds this incredible Greco-Roman Hellenized city from the times of the Maccabees and more. See you in the water soon. We've arrived at the spring. Check it out. Okay. Ein HaNatziv, it's one of the most beautiful in the land inside the kibbutz. Kibbutz Ein HaNatziv,
which was founded by French B'nai Kibbutz back in the 1940s. And this road here actually has three religious kibbutzim: Ein HaNatziv, Sde Eliyahu, and Tirat Tzvi. All of them remarkably still kibbutzim and still religious.
But ain't this a beauty? Got to get in soon. Firstly, we're going to do a 10k loop. We'll warm up and then we'll go for a splash. Folks, we're just outside Beit She'an at the entrance of Kibbutz Ein HaNatziv, named after Rabbi Tzvi Yehuda Berlin. It's an Orthodox religious community surrounded by many kibbutzim. Let's hit the road and field. Okay, we're off the main road, heading into the agricultural fields. Check this out. How amazing is this? Wide, expansive agricultural fields being, whoa, nice, being irrigated. And now we're going to make our way all along the water channel here. Check it out. Stunning running terrain. Even in the summer, you can keep cool and fresh. Have a dip in the waters and the springs along the route. Okay, we're in the Valley of Springs and there's a bird observatory coming up. So shh. A whole flock of pelicans. How beautiful is this? The bird is paradise. You ornithologists out there, you got to come check this out. 500 million birds crossing our skies annually. And here they are, right next to the kibbutz, 3 kilometers into our run, and you get to see this incredible beauty. It smells good too. Okay, we'll do a quick 360 to show you what surrounds us. So behind me is south towards the area of the Dead Sea, south in the Jordan Valley. If you look here to the west, you can see the mountains of Gilboa, where we spoke about Shaul HaMelech, King Saul and his sons that fell. In front of me, Dr. Tuvia Book, and to the right, to the east, we're turning in the direction of the mountains of Gilad. That's where Eliyahu HaNavi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu HaGiladi, Elijah the prophet, came from those hills. And that, of course, is in the tribal land of Manasseh. Manasseh had land space east of the Jordan and west of the Jordan. And if you make out those palm trees, that's where we're aiming to get to. maybe we'll have a dip. Oh, yes. Wow. So peaceful. Not sure we're going to swim here. We're going to keep dry. We're 6 kilometers in, so we got 5 k's left. But we'll just breathe it in for a bit. Nice place to fish. Look at these trails. Muddy trails. Runner's paradise, let me tell you. For sure. Following the trail map here. Such a pleasure. Check out Shaver Tiulim, Run with Gene. He designed this course that I'm running, so thank you very much. Check out the video above. Emek Mayanot, one of the fun ones. Okay, we've come through to the other side and the grass is greener. We are 1 kilometer from the finish and look what we're treated with. Gushing waters. Have a look how it's streaming down there. What a place to freshen up if you need. We're going to go at the end, but trust me, if you're hot and you're needing a swim, what a place. Paradise. There we go, folks. Back in the kibbutz. Now it's time for a swim. Well earned. The loop is done, 11.5 kilometers. We're back at Enanatziv. We're going to get in there. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe, follow, share, like, do your thing. We appreciate it. Some interesting stuff coming your way soon. Thank you, Dr. Book, for joining the journey.
Pleasure was all mine.
Love you. Shabbat Shalom. Chag Sameach. Time to have some fun. Perfect place to do a little bit of flatboarding here on the spring. They've got these sponge lilos. What a place to relax.